That was fun.
Welcome to the Ringside
jamming.
Podcast. I'm Daniel Spencer.
I'm Jeremy Wallman.
I'm Linda Kay.
And I'm Eric Cornish.
Yeah, guys, we are live, and this is the first time this is ever happened. So this is pretty awesome. I'm excited for this. I mean, I know we've done some live like jump ins where me and Jeremy kind of hopped in and did a little couple things, but this is actually the first time we're doing Ringside live. And as I mentioned before, this is kind of be our new thing now. We're live here tonight at 8:30. This is not going to be our normal Eastern time. This is not going to be our normal live thing. We're going to work that out the time. I think next week we might go live a little earlier, and then we'll figure out what our hot spot is, or our sweet spot for us to do that. But I'm excited. We're going to be able to have fan interaction live on all platforms. We're live right now on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. So be sure to follow us, subscribe, so you don't miss it. Check us out and chat away. Like this is awesome. And being that we're the first time live, and we're going to be talking about the show Wrestlers today. Yes, we're going to talk about Wrestlers. Being that we're doing that, then we might have some guests pop in from time to time, some surprise people. So be on the lookout for that here in a little bit. So there we go. How about that?
Live. We live, baby. We live.
We live, pal.
Thanks for that reminder there, Jeremy. This is so exciting. Oh, hello, Clint. This is awesome. Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure that, like, anytime you do something for the first time, there's some bugs, and there was with ours the first time. So I wanted to make sure that we, in fact, were live for comments. So this is still messing me up. I cannot hear myself, and I'm not used to that. I love hearing myself, if y'all haven't noticed.
We kind of figured that out. We kind of figured that you like to hear yourself as much as possible. So we get that. But guys, Wrestlers is streaming now on Netflix, ladies and gentlemen. Wrestlers is streaming live, and we lost Eric, but Eric will be back. I know
He'll
he's
hop back in.
he'll hop back in. So Wrestlers is streaming live on Netflix. We're going to be talking about that situation or that show and everything that's happening with Wrestlers. We're going to review it, so to speak, as much as possible. We're going to get that going. But I'm just over. I am through the moon right now over over everything that's happening, and I love it. So yeah.
I mean, the buzz is just still there. I mean, besides watching everything over and over and seeing our friends and colleagues on such a huge platform, we're seeing all these reviews just constantly coming through and from huge publications. So that I still got to catch up on.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, this held a special place in my heart for multiple reasons, because as y'all know, I've mentioned it multiple times on the podcast. Over on Mechanic Street, that's where my dad used to take us on the, every week. First it was, and a lot of people have this misnomer that what Jerry Lawler did transformed into OVW, and it left around the same time OVW came around. It's not the same company. It's a different company completely. And it didn't matter which company it was. My dad used to take us to watch Wrestlers all the time. And to see OVW get its shine on a national stage, and to hear just some of the numbers and the feedback that it's been getting is just, it warms my heart. See the national support from, the national support from people. It was great. The only gripe I had as a Louisville fan is that there was too much UK blue. And I know, Eric, you probably enjoyed that as Eric is frozen on the screen, but I did not care for it.
We saw bits and pieces of what took part in that rivalry on the show, but I mean, hey, if you're a fan on either side, you got to see a little side of that, a little mention of a little something.
Yeah, no doubt. And it really was a special. Look, we know we talked about everything that was going on. Behind the scenes, we talked about, we didn't do as much here publicly on the show, but we talked about, them coming in. We knew that this show was going to happen. We saw how much they filmed. We didn't know what it was going to be like as far as how they were going to take it and look and all those kind of things, right? So we were curious to see the stories they're going to take, and the stories they shared from the main story of the struggling company that was once a striving company when WB was here years ago, to to a company that that literally like is still barely keeping things together, and but also could possibly leave. So now we've got a chance to kind of make this kind of keep things going. To also individual stories from everything else from you our good pal Brian Kennison, to what he was going through in his situation, to people like Cash Flow, been in the business for a long time, making a name for himself still to this day, and trying and being a leader there. To to Haley J and Darkstorm and Shira and what Shira has gone through, and those are all individual stories, but the fact, as you mentioned, is that OVW was put in this platform of this company that's still around, that people still think wasn't around, it's still there and doing live. I mean, the only other company to do live television weekly, other than WB and AEW, Al brought that up, is OVW. I mean, Impact, I work for them, but we do live pay-per-views. We don't do live television. We all tape our television. ROH does live television even now under, tape television, even under the new regime under Tony Khan. MLW, wow. Any other promotion, New Japan, all of these shows are taped shows. They have live pay-per-views, but they don't have live television. Only WB, AEW, and now as well as OVW are the only three that do that, and it's pretty cool to see that, and to be kind of put that out there, so to speak.
Eric said he will not be rejoining us. He's having technical difficulties, and I hate that because I love when Eric's on the show. But hopefully he'll rejoin us here in a few minutes. But yeah, that's and as you know from day one, I have been a huge proponent of every time anybody of our guests, any of our co-hosts have talked down on OVW, calling them an independent promotion. I have.
Yep.
Well,
your mic, yeah, your mic cord.
Oh, my mic cord did that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Try to contain your mic.
Hang on, something real quick. I forgot. I left something out.
Oh my God, this is the best the show has ever sounded. Let's go. But
carry on, Jeremy. Though.
Thank you, Linda. We should do this more often. No, but I've always been a big proponent. It's not an independent. For me, for it to be an independent, there would be no Jesse Godder's or no EC3 or no James Storm or no Mahabali Shera or no Luke Curtis I don't want to leave anybody out, so I'm not just saying that. But those are the first names that pop in my head. No, there would be no Haley J there if it was truly independent. It'd be a bunch of people. And there was a time when OVW was full of people that were just learning, but those guys have went on to do different stuff. I mean, Randall Floyd is a perfect example. I'm sorry. Turbo Floyd is a perfect example of a guy like that, because when he first came around, in OVW, just like any promotion has its up and down periods, he came in during a down period and turned it up, in my opinion. As a fan, obviously I'm just a fan. So, and that's what OVW has always done. They've turned people, they know how to teach people how to be entertainers. They know how to teach people to be wrestlers.
You know what, guys? Sorry, that is right, Jeremy. But you know what? This is a show full of surprises today, and I think we got our first surprise coming in. This person can kind of stay in as long as they want, because we love this person. If you're listening to audio version, you hear this person's voice every single time. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Mr. AJ McKay.
AJ McKay.
They're not talking about me, are they?
Yeah. Now, Eric had some technical difficulties, so he's actually not available right now. So hey, AJ was going to pop in for a little bit. AJ, if Eric's still going to be around, you can kind of fill his shoes a little bit here. And
well,
stay
I've
with
been
us.
doing that most of my life, so no, I'm kidding. He's going to kill me.
Maybe, yeah, for sure. No, AJ, welcome to the show. Good to have you back. Thank you for all you do. But
Absolutely.
this is. I mean, we're kind of having, we're kind of, this is kind of a thing. We're live for the first time, so this is cool. But also we're here to review and talk about wrestlers. They're streaming now on Netflix, as it says at the top right there, at the ticker at the top here. And AJ, we kind of all kind of gave our little idea of how cool it was or whatever. Let's hear from you. What was your, not all your overall thoughts? We're going to break that down as we go further, but like just
Sure.
the fact that it was there and available. What was your thoughts when it comes to wrestlers and having this platform?
Well, I mean, I think it not only does great business for OVW, but it also is a boost for wrestling as a whole. I'm hearing mixed back and forth, being like, oh, why did they get it? Why didn't we get it? Why didn't so-and-so get it? It's about opportunity. And so we're not going to say no. You seize every opportunity in life you can get. So I think for us, I think it benefits everybody long term, because it shows the common viewer or someone that's not really into wrestling, it shows them that there are other things out there other than WWE, AEW, Impact. There are territories that are out there that are starting to kind of make their way back. So I think it's a win-win for everybody. Not everybody is going to get a participation trophy at the end of the day. Somebody had to pick up the ball and run with it. Luckily, OVW was that somebody. So, I would have been happy if it would have been someone else. I just think that we all need to lift each other up in anything that we do in life. Life is so negative as it is. So instead of sitting behind a keyboard and hating on something or someone's success, help them, elevate them, and maybe they can help you in return.
Absolutely.
And there's your TED Talk.
Oh no, I was just gonna add on, AJ, but how you said it. This show shows another side to everybody. Yes, we all have our own lives, but it just really shows that connection of what we all do in the ring, at the arena, and then our outside lives. How it connects with us and the fans and everybody, and just how it really affects our lives. And wrestlers does have the moments. It gives you the emotions. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll relate. You'll debate.
You'll get angry. You'll want to throw something at the television.
Exactly.
I lived it with you guys, and I still wanted to throw stuff at the TV from time to time.
Yeah, no doubt, for sure. On that, what I thought was interesting too is that like I remember, and I even said this where we had a review party, and we're watching the first episode, and there was the moment in the first episode where Kripke rips off the turnbuckle pad, and we'll kind of like go behind the curtain a little bit. Like that was a spot that they were talked about, and then it got canned, and it was going to happen, and then it went ahead and got approved. And because of the way we do our turnbuckle pads, like I need to know that ahead of time so I can make it where the turnbuckle pad doesn't get destroyed. Well, unfortunately, the turnbuckle pad got destroyed, and they didn't show it. I don't know why, because it probably was great television, but I was hot. And there's one scene in the moment. There's one scene where I'm sitting there with my arms. I'm looking at it going, and I'm fuming because we had less than 2 minutes to put a new turnbuckle pad. We had to find one. Luckily we did that. We don't see later that there's more being recorded in that show or taped on that show or live or whatever, filmed live, because on that show, on that episode of OVW TV, that we did get a turnbuckle pad on but we didn't have time to do it before the Haley Jada match. So man, I could have swore they were going to show me like going on, and I went off on Kripke too. I was like, and then I had to yell at Doug for telling him that he could do it without letting me know, and then Doug yelled at me back, and I was like, okay, I'm sorry, go beat me up. So let me walk away. But anyway.
I had a little bit of a meltdown. I remember one instance in particular that I was directing or managing the floor at the time, and I was out there with Eric, and I remember looking at him because they had just not been giving us times. Eric is standing there, he's got his back to the monitors, so he can't see, so he's just standing there like this, and nobody's saying you're live, and he's just do, and I got so mad, and I went back there and I just cussed everybody out in Gorilla, including Al. I didn't really cuss anybody, but there was a lot of expletives. There was a lot of, you guys got to feed us times. We're out there blind, blah, blah, blah. And I just happened to look over because you do forget about the cameras. And then there's this camera right in my face. I'm like, well, I don't need that on television. So I'm glad that
I'm glad we corrected all those problems though, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we have in the last 2 weeks.
We're still a work in progress. What can I say?
This is what's great to see on wrestlers too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, remember we're giving away tickets to an OVW to October TV of OVW later in the show. So tune in, stay there. We're going to be giving them out later on in the show. So you have to be tuned in to win. So be on the lookout for that.
You guys have gotten so fancy with everything now, with the streaming and the scrolling and the camera switching. I'm like, good night. This is fancier than OVW production sometimes.
Hey, my end is usually a little more like OVW production. That's why I had to come back on and figure out what I'm going to do with my life here. So
I don't know what you did though, but that buzzing that you always have, Eric, went away. So whatever
it's gone, because now I've just gone to strictly using my camera instead of my old computer. So
there you go.
It looks good though.
Yeah.
I don't know if the sound's any better, because I feel like I'm just
Sounds
screaming
clear.
at you now. But
nope, you're good. You're good.
No, it sounds great.
We're used to it by now. We're used to it. That's what you do. It's your job. You're supposed to get rowdy and holla.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen,
Hey, buddy, what's up? And Matthew.
I just want to say this because I'm an insider as far as the show is concerned only, not in any other aspect. But as somebody who's been coming to OVW since I was 19,
Wow,
so cool to not only I wish Daniel wasn't in the room. I would give so many more compliments because you just know Daniel was the kid in school that got the swirlies and got shoved into the locker for bringing his WWF magazine to school.
I was that kid too.
I really wasn't a kid. Everybody wanted to look at the magazines, and
nobody would ever. I wouldn't fit in the locker because I was 6'5" and 250, so they couldn't stick me. They'd stick me in a closet if anything. But I just think it's so cool not only to be a part of this, and we've been a part of it for quite a while now, of OVW, but to see, just to see everything y'all do and hear about what y'all do. I know sometimes it's frustrating for y'all, but to be able to hear about it and stuff, it's just really cool for me. So I appreciate you all.
That's very
We
nice.
appreciate you too. And just going to the chat here, thank you, Ryan. We love this too. And also, Lua Villain Rob, I hope I got that right, who lives in E-Town, is just stating that you don't get the channels that show OVW, but every week you can see OVW live on the free Fight TV app.
Yes,
Every
Fight
Thursday
TV.
night, live 7 p.m. Eastern time. So that's the way you can catch
FITE, Fight TV. I'll put it in the chat here.
Yeah, and you can catch replays too. And that's where you can catch any of the Saturday night specials as well.
Fight TV app right there.
All smart
And I
TV.
do hope for a season 2.
So yeah, as somebody that's been in the entertainment field for the last 33 years of my life, I can honestly say that if anything is going to get a season 2, and I have no inside knowledge one way or the other, but this was so beautifully shot and edited and scored. I remember looking at Eric as the floor director. It's my job to worry about the front of house. And so I remember looking at Eric when they first started filming and they had all that haze in the arena. I'm like, my God, there's so much fog in here. Like our TV product looks awful. It looks like we're fighting in a back alley somewhere. And after seeing, the results of what it looks like on film, those 3 months, I guess I can't get too hot over, because it really is beautifully done, really, truly.
Yeah, I'll give you an example real quick, because the match that a lot of people are talking about is the Haley and Maria match. And if you haven't made it to that episode, I mean, it's drama galore, and it was drama during our TV. But I will say this, like, I remember sitting there at ringside and watching the match, and it was like, cool, they got through it. It was all right. Nothing against those two. It was just like, okay, cool. It was another night. The match was done. But you watch it on the show. I mean, I was in tears at the end of that thing because of the way they made it so dramatic. And it was, kudos to the crew and Greg Whiteley and the whole team, because there was a huge team of them. But I mean, amazing.
But we didn't really have time to enjoy. Like when we're there, we enjoy the show. Eric and I, because Eric can attest. When I used to sit out there with him, I'd beat the hell out of him pretty much every time.
Yeah.
We turn into fans. And so when you see high spots and you see these dangerous moves, I'm sitting there beating on him, and he's like, "Would you please?" But
I do that now.
Will you stop? Yeah.
Oh my God.
But you don't have time to really get emotionally involved because you're so busy putting on a production and making sure everything's running smooth. But yeah, I agree with Eric. There were a lot of things that I saw and I was there for, and they hit different when you see them in that scope of things. So yeah, I'd agree.
I have a question, AJ. How could you have been in the business for 33 years when you don't look a day over 34 and a half?
Brother, I'm going to be 50 next year. So there you go. Yeah. So if I let my hair grow out on the sides, I'd look every bit of my age. That's why I keep it shaved down. So
if your hair let you grow out.
Well, there's that too. Thank you.
Guys, real quick, those that are watching, if you're watching live on Twitter, please repost, retweet, whatever it's called. If you're watching on Facebook, please share this so we can get the word out. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can also share it as well through social media apps, or just share it on social media through all the other things too as well. And if you're as well on Twitch, share and do that. So we appreciate that. Please share. Thank you. I saw Matthew said he shared the live, so that reminded me to we're kind of getting the word out. This is a new thing. Yes, we have a lot of many listeners and watchers and stuff in the past, but this is a new aspect we're bringing to the table here. So we want people to interact. We want things to happen. So yes, please share. And if you don't, go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, I saw Michael up there. Michael says the Maniac Kid says hello. That would be Chase. And Chase is also a big part of the show, along with his partner in crime there. Of course, everybody has seen her at this point. We're talking about Gracie.
Yeah.
They are always right there at right along ringside with us. So we absolutely love our fans, especially the young fans. So hello, Maniac Kid Chase.
How did they get more screen time than most all of
right?
us did?
Right.
Like we worked there and they got more screen time than us. I'm going to
even the special graphics for the name.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I'm going to sit in the crowd next time if they come back to do a season 2. I'm just going to sit in the front row. Apparently, that's how you got on Netflix.
Right, 100%, no doubt. So I'm gonna break down the show a little bit. Like one of the things that I said this before. I feel like they filmed so much that they didn't air. I mean, I know I had a segment they were doing with me and Cal Hero being at what do you call it, the Ric Flair's last match.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't show any of that, but they did show the Ric Flair's last match, but they didn't show like they interviewed us, talking to us, getting the opportunity going all there. They didn't show that. There's a bunch of other stuff I know that for other people, maybe even people in this room, that they interviewed and talked about and they didn't show. So, and I say in this room as in this, I'm like we're in a room together right now.
Basically, what he's trying to say.
We're in an AOL.
AOL chat. Yeah. But I felt like this is my prediction or my assumption is that they probably maybe they thought they didn't know how many episodes they're going to have, and so they're like, let's just film. Maybe we get 10. And then they got 7, so they had to condense it down, and that was what they did, and they showed an amusing story. Or maybe I heard somebody else say it. They said I thought it was just going to be 5, and they spread it to 7. I was like, okay, that's cool. So
it's what the iceberg, really, I think, because there's so many great backstories that are heartbreaking, but also heartwarming, and we haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg with a lot of our talent.
No, we haven't.
Can I ask a question, Daniel? I'd read somewhere that we saw the personal journey. It felt like it was focused on Haley and Shira for the most part.
Yeah.
But I read somewhere today that they had followed 3 or 4 other wrestlers, and that just was not released. I don't know if that's true or not, but do you think because I know a season 2 would mean another year of production and stuff like that. Do you think this is an instance where maybe we get a season 1 part 2? As Netflix is famous for doing, since there's all that unused footage? That's just I'm asking for your opinion on it.
I mean, what could happen? What they did when and this is my own personal opinion. I do not have any insight on this. Neither does anybody in this room. Will tell you the same thing.
Well,
they did this with what's the show called that the Tiger show,
Tiger King.
Tiger King. Yes, Tiger King was so successful that they end up making a not for seen episode or whatever, and they came back with like a little couple episodes and they showed you, which was just footage they hadn't shown or some updates or whatever. So it's very possible they could do that. They could come out with a hey, here's some more never been seen, here's some more side story we want to show you about wrestlers and add that in. They have the footage, they have the story, they could definitely do that. Do I think they do that? No, I think if they do anything, they give us a season 2. But if we don't get a season 2, that's what they could do as a way of maybe trying to force one to happen. You know.
I think it all just kind of depends on how popular this ends up getting, and I don't think we totally know that yet. I mean, there are several different people that they focused on. Like you said, they did something with you and Cal. I think they had some stories with Cal. I think they had some more stories with Amon. I know for a fact that they followed around, one of our younger trainees that's still trying to make his way in, Morty, who we refer to, Ryan Smith. I mean, there's a lot of people that they followed around that the stories just didn't make it because of, lack of time. So
yeah.
If it's really popular and they feel the demand, Jeremy, I could see something like that happening. But again, we're not in charge of any of that. So
right. Well, there's as an avid Netflixer, shows like The Ranch. The part 2 thing was something that at first they would just release all the episodes of a season, but I think, and it may not have been starting with The Ranch, but right around that time they released half the season to see how it was going to do, and then once it blew up, they're like, well, good, we've already got another 6 episodes we can roll out, or 10 episodes we can roll out right now. I cannot see a situation in my mind where they wait 2 years to release season 2 of the show. And I know y'all are being modest and saying, well, we don't know how it's doing. Everybody in this room knows that this show is the hottest thing on Netflix since Last Chance U. Like, everybody's talking about it. Wrestling fans, non-wrestling fans, soap opera fans, the hobo that lives out behind my house, they're all talking. And I don't even know how he gets to watch it unless he's still in my Wi-Fi. So it is what it is. Like, they have to do the season 1 part 2 because there's no way you can wait. And maybe throw some updates on at the end. Hey, since season 1 part 1 dropped, here's what Haley and cash flow and this and that, and add some updates and stuff. But like, you just absolutely cannot strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to, if they do something like that, they may release some bonus episodes. And again, I'm just hypothesizing here. I think they'd have to release, because I do know they followed Cal extensively around. They did a lot with Amon and some others. They'd have to release that stuff in a timely manner, because otherwise it's going to be so outdated that it really won't apply. I mean, even some of the stuff that is in this season now, it's kind of outdated and it doesn't, no longer applies. So it'd be great to see a couple of extra bonus episodes, with the popularity of things. This is the tip of the iceberg. I keep saying that to all of the locker room. I don't think they're prepared for, the appearances that are very possible to happen on, like the Today Show and Good Morning America and TMZ and all these other things. You like Eric said this weekend at our house shows, you can feel it's a different energy. You can feel this thing rumbling and gaining traction, and it was a whole different vibe. And I thought when Eric got in the ring and he at the Gaslight Festival, he said, how many people have seen wrestlers on Netflix? And I'm thinking, maybe 30 people. The crowd just went, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
I wasn't prepared for that.
I did a show here in Wisconsin.
All I can say is that it just felt different.
We were asking.
I think his internet's a little off. It's okay though. It's okay.
It's okay. I was just to that point, AJ, what happened when Eric mentioned he was watched the wrestlers at the show this past weekend. Similar for me, did a show for GLCW in Wisconsin and asking the crowd, not being in the Louisville area, we still got a huge response, a huge applause, a lot of hands up from watching it as well. And we had a lot of the stars from wrestlers that were at our show in Milwaukee as well.
Yeah.
That kind of felt like when Kanye came up and took the mic from Taylor, didn't it?
I don't know. I just paused. I wasn't sure what was happening. Sorry, Eric. We love you.
AJ McKay is the greatest of all time.
I started talking way before you did. I promise.
Yes, Ringside Podcast is live. Whoop whoop. I feel like they needed to say, what's after you go whoop whoop? What is it? I don't even know. We're rated R, but I don't want to. I can't remember the guy's name. The Juggalos and the Jiggalettes, and you know what I'm talking about. The guy that does the stupid jumps off the stuff. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm the only one that watches this kid.
And
You know
that's when Daniel realized he was out there all by himself.
Superhuman, I got you.
Yes, thank you, Eric. He's delayed on responding. There you go. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it.
Oh, and also Harry there. Thank you.
Goodness gracious. Oh man, yes, there we go. Superhuman. There you go. Thank you. All right. No, I tell you what, I cried more in this than I thought I ever would. I don't know about you all. The story. I mean, Haley made me cry. Cash Flow made me cry. It was almost Shira. Oh gosh, Shira. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, but
no, it's okay.
I told Shira, like, whether you like that guy, whether you boo him or cheer him, my dad died of cancer in 2007. And so I didn't realize that. I didn't know that about Shira up front. And we talk every day. I'm building his website right now, actually. And we've been talking a lot more than we normally do. It's never come up in conversation. And when I saw that, I just fell apart. I texted him immediately after I watched it and just, told him how much that meant. So it gets me a little, wonky just thinking about it. But that dude has a heart of gold, and why he is not at the big dance right now, I don't know.
I mean, he is an Impact Wrestling, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean by the big dance. There is one main company that's the top of all companies. And that is
like he's got a contract. He's like, I can't say
no,
their
I can
name.
say WWE. I would say it all the time on the show. It don't bother me. They are the king. They are the pinnacle. That's where you want to be. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm happy. We're all happy at what we're doing. Some of us are happy at OVW. I'm happy at Impact as well. But we don't get in the. We never got in the business to be at OVW and be at Impact. We got in the business to be at WWE, right? So that's the thing. And so maybe one day, it'll happen for some of us and some people won't, but I'm happy with what I'm doing right now. And I love being at Impact and OVW, and I'm 100%. It's my home, and it always will be my home, even if I ever do move on somewhere else. But yeah, it's WB. It's fine to say that. But here's the thing that I thought I could not believe made me cry, and I don't know if anybody else did or not, but freaking Al Snow getting in the ring again. And what was funny was a month before that or whatever, I was refereeing a match with him in Wisconsin, and 2 matches actually, and it was like no big deal, but like the story of him, doing it again in OVW and in that arena, much different than doing it at a festival in Wisconsin. It just was. It was a great experience and a great. And I wasn't at the big one. Unfortunately, I had Impact tapings in Dallas that weekend, so I wasn't there. So to be able to, that was me experiencing that for the first time, and all of that leading up to that show, and the issues that Eric, or AJ, you and Eric, where Eric kind of disappeared for a little bit once again, that you shared about some technical issues we're having with microphones and whatever, and like those kind of things. Like I didn't get to experience all that because I was somewhere else. So like seeing that and being involved in that, and then literally like, making me cry, watching a guy that I've watched millions of times and growing up and is a mentor of mine now and training and whatnot, and my boss, for lack of a better term, in the ring. I was bawling. And I'm like, why am I crying at Al Snow in the ring? But it was one of those things that happened.
And that wasn't the story. Like, that wasn't the story we were focusing on during that time period. The big story was it was him and Doug tag teaming against Shannon and Joe Mack. And so the big story that we were telling was that if they won, Al got 5 minutes with Shannon. Mm-hmm. So like, I remember watching that match, and Eric, chime in, with your thought. I remember being thrilled and happy and overjoyed that Al was in there having fun with Doug. They were beating the hell out of Joe and it was Revolver, wasn't it? Yeah. And at the end, it was just, I just remember the arena being like just ecstatic and thrilled. And then, Al gets his 5 minutes with Shannon, and it was so funny and entertaining. And that's not the way that it came across in the show. In the Wrestlers, it came across as this emotional, heart-wrenching, coming out of retirement kind of thing, or stepping back through the whatever, through the ropes. It was done beautifully, but yeah, I live that two different ways. I live that more comical and more entertainment from a wrestling fan standpoint, but then I also relived it from a dramatic, movie-esque comeback story, and it was amazing to see both different sides of that. So
yeah, it really hit me when they were showing the footage of him with Head in the OVW ring, and then they flashed back to the days and back, and I was just like, oh, Uncle Al.
Yeah, the crossfades that they did there were so good, so good.
Yes. Hi, Shane Chess.
What do you think, Eric?
What do you? Yeah, Eric. Eric's having. It's funny. RJ put this out here. RJ, who hosts this, Reffing It Up with Brian Hebner and Jimmy Cordeas, and I've been filling in for Jimmy the last couple of weeks. We actually pre-taped a show with RJ earlier, or with Brian Hebner earlier. We had Brian Kinnison on the show, someone we all know very well, and there were so many technical issues that RJ actually didn't even get to do the show, and so we did it without him, and it was a great show. But man, it was a nightmare. I actually had to drink a beer tonight. So there you go.
That sums that up.
Yeah. So I told you guys we're not done with guests today, right? I told you that we're just going to have constant surprises popping in and out. And, somebody else that was shown a few times in Wrestlers that was there, didn't get to speak much or have his own like story or whatever, but he was just a part of all of this stuff there. And he knows a lot of the backstage stuff. Someone we work with dearly. Let's bring in the one and only Jesse J-Mo Morris. Come on in. Oh, wait a minute. He's not coming in. I don't know what has happened. Well,
J-Mo.
Come on,
for an
people.
intro,
Y'all get
right?
that fiber and you won't have any issues. You can be just like me and have no issues.
I like that. I got that fiber too. That fiber is amazing, man.
Look, me and AJ are on point. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but we got that fiber.
I don't know what just happened. Like I clicked the button to bring him in, and he's not coming in. So I don't know. It's not. I mean, I clearly got the internet and mine's working, so I don't know what the issue is.
Yeah, maybe the check didn't go through.
Maybe yeah.
That's what it was. That Cash App was down. It wasn't getting the Cash App from you.
Oh, man, I'm out of here. The check didn't clear. I'm not doing it.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll have J-Mo on here in a few minutes. He actually he's actually hopped out of the chat. So yeah, we'll get that. Oh, he's coming back. So let's see if we can get him in.
TV.
Well,
Eric's gone again.
I think Eric's done for the night. He sent me a message that said, I think I'm just going to call it a night. So
Yeah,
appreciate Eric trying. He did try quite a few times. So let's get, I think there's an issue with now my system. It's not the internet. It's the system itself having an issue because I'm not able to like click buttons and move the chat around and all that. So I think there's an issue with my system there. I don't know what just happened. So yeah, but I can still record. I can still talk. I don't know what's going on. So it just so happens when J-Mo hopped in is when it started. So
I just want to point out we never had these kind of issues on Restream. You had to get he had to get the Dollar General store version of streaming software. I got I have the fibers of streaming software, but it is what it is.
yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know what's actually my computer just froze, but again, I'm still like I can't move the software around. It's really weird. What's happening? I don't know if
You didn't freeze on our side. Again,
no, I know I'm still going. I don't know what it's just the system itself not letting me I can't navigate through the chat, so I don't know what's happening here. So
yeah, J-Mo just private messaged me and said he's here, but you can't do anything. So
yeah, he's here. I can see him. He's popping in. It just won't let me select it and bring him over. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if that was something that maybe Eric messed it all up.
He's not here. Let's blame it on him.
I'll blame it on Eric.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, guys. I'm gonna try to fix something. Y'all talk amongst yourself while I'm trying to fix this.
Talk
Okay.
amongst yourselves. Well, go ahead,
I
Linda.
was gonna say, we're all big fans of music, and how about the music in Wrestlers and how there were some of those montages to a lot of 80s songs, a lot of 80s hits. I'm an 80s girl, and I was happy to see I had a moment there when there was an episode at Country Boy Brewing where it started off showing the show that night playing the Styx "Come Sail Away." I mean, oh my
I was
goodness!
surprised. I thought it was going to be all stock music, or just production music. I did not think. I mean, because you have to think like all of that stuff. Those rights are expensive to that kind of thing, and so they spent some money on that to really to be able to pull that all together, and everything was so appropriate. All the musicality throughout the whole thing was just awesome. It was just great.
Yeah, in the beginning, when Jukebox Hero came out, it started standing in the rain. I was like, oh. And the way they
Goosebumps.
shot Haley coming through Gorilla, and you see the ring, and it's amazing.
I missed so much of the taping because I was in Europe at the time, traveling, because I teach voiceover. So I was over there for some conferences and some retreats and things. And so I was in it just enough. Like I was in it as much as I wanted to be in it. And that was perfect for me because I like being behind the microphone and kind of out of the limelight. And, I've done it for 33 years. So I was kind of glad. I'm glad the meltdown wasn't on there because I'm like, that just was a little embarrassing. But, it's live television. So you get in the heat of the moment sometimes and you say what you need to say. No, everybody knows it's not personal. It's just you got to say it quickly because you're running out of time, So, I mean, now I'm sitting back there directing the shows with Al.
Keep talking.
Cool. So yeah, so now it's like I've gone from the floor part of things to working backstage and helping direct and keep the flow of the show moving, and it's been very gratifying. So, yeah. How about you? Do you feel like did you think that you were in it more than what you actually were?
Know what? I wasn't mic'd often. I was mic'd just the first night, but being on a lot of the road shows or some of all of the big Saturday night specials that we had, I didn't know what would be used. I mean, I heard my voice a lot. Yeah, I didn't see myself as much, but hey, getting that rub on there, that's tremendous. And I'm just glad. I was going to ask more, but hey,
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, I saw all of you all plenty. I didn't see myself at all. It sucked, but
we need the concession stand. So if you want to come sell nachos or popcorn, maybe you'll get in season 2 there. See?
Listen, I'll do it. I work cheap.
Well, that's a good thing.
Look, I'll take a bag of popcorn and a Diet Pepsi, and I'm good.
Well, that's kind of how that works.
Eric said, as expected, his children were upstairs using all the Wi-Fi.
Well, how about that?
That's what I just checked. That's what I just went and checked with mine. I mean, I have everything. It's just weird that my system, I literally cannot navigate through the chat through clicking buttons. It won't do anything, but I'm still live. So I don't know what is going on. So I'm just kind of letting everything happen. So whatever.
You just missed our music convo, which hi Angela, and also Bunny also saying the music was great, phenomenal. So we're just touching on that. There was a soundtrack for it, right? That we saw. Did we see some posts?
Yeah, the soundtrack though is all the score. It's not anything. It's not
So it doesn't have Foreigner sticks on there.
No, it doesn't have any of that.
Okay.
I'm trying to bring JMO in. JMO keeps trying to bring. I don't know. Literally, Eric left, and then JMO popped in, and then all of a sudden everything froze on my end, on my whole. It's hard to describe what I'm looking at, but my whole system, I can't move around into it. I'm locked. I'm like the last comment I see is from 9:13, and it's 9:23.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So,
wonder what would happen if you just logged out and logged back in the same. Probably that screw up your whole gimmick.
Maybe we could try it out. I could do that and see if that'll work, but we could.
Daniel, as a part-time IT technician, I would suggest you just go to the top of your browser and hit your refresh button.
I've been doing that.
Okay.
It won't let me select. It literally won't let me select anything anywhere. Wow. So I think there's another. I'm trying to see if there was some kind of an app that I had open that was like running all of my RAM or something that's causing it, and I can't even close out all my other apps. It won't let me do it.
Wow, can't even do the old Control Alt Delete. That's brutal.
Yeah.
So
Well,
if-
I'll use a
if
Mac,
you
so it's not
logged
really
out,
Control
is
Alt
it gonna-
Delete.
If you logged out, would it shut the whole show down?
That I don't know. That's the
Probably.
the thing. I can't even. But I'm trying to even log out and it won't let me. Like I'm literally can't click on anything. So I don't even know if this broadcast is ever going to end because I can't click in stream. So we'll
Oh
just
my
keep
gosh.
going all night. You know.
It says it's uploading, so
Yeah.
I guess that's
right.
the plus.
It is uploading. Correct. Yeah. All right. Well, we can keep talking. I'm just letting you know what I'm experiencing over here. I'm sorry I'm not showing any tickers or any chats. I was going to highlight anything in the chat because I can't see it at all, so I don't know what's going on. And sorry, JMO, I'm trying to bring him in, and it won't. It's like it won't let me select, but it's not my. And I can't even see if it's my mouse. Actually, you know what? Hang on. Let's try this. Let's reconnect my mouse. Maybe that could be it. You're all quiet. You all can talk.
I was gonna say it's our
this-
first time live, so
Dramatic.
it's not gonna be perfect.
Right.
That's rolling.
These
here.
are what do you call this?
Growing pains.
Growing
The
pains.
kinks.
Yes. Yes.
Kinks. No, these aren't kinks. It's a whole different thing. It's an R-rated show, but we won't go there.
No,
Yeah.
or the band, huh? Talking
Or the
about
band.
music.
Oh, Linda, you're always so positive. That's what we love about Miss Linda.
I'm waiting for my mouse to come back on connected. So that's the other thing now. So it's it's here we go.
Uh-oh. Drum roll.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at that!
There's your mouth the whole time.
Here.
It was the mouse the whole time. That's what it was.
You got to be kidding.
Yep. I should have turned it off and on a long time ago.
What
So
kind
there
of
you go.
show is this?
I got a different setting here.
Yeah. Well, hey,
Look, we're
welcome back to
comfy.
the show, Eric, and welcome to the show, JMO. I tried to make a run in like 20 minutes ago, and it didn't quite work. What are you
Pepe
wearing there?
fixed your mouse, fixed everything. You brought Eric back too.
Yeah. What kind of shirt? What kind of shirt are you wearing there, pal?
Oh, you like this? You're gonna love this.
No. Why? Why? Joe?
Mr. Delicious. Oh, look
That's
at that.
right. That's right.
Are you on your phone? Turn your phone sideways so we can
I
see
had
it.
I had to represent. I turn my phone sideways.
Go. You want to go landscape on your phone? It should rotate and adjust, but it
You
didn't.
probably got it locked.
This is better.
Oh, you got it locked. Okay, yeah. All right. Well,
You're good though.
there it
There we
is.
go.
There it is. Yes.
Everything coming up roses.
Now we're cooking with hot grease.
Yeah. Yes.
Of course, we can't hear him now.
Daniel just put over the mouse. No, actually, the mouse beat me. I just it was the mouse the whole time though. That's what.
Can
it
you
was.
hear me now?
There we go.
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
All right, there we go.
Man, I ain't seen you in a long time, J-Mo. How's
I
it
know,
been?
right? Had a great time at the gym yesterday. It felt great.
Hey, what was your favorite part? Was it the workout or was it me out in the parking lot with my megaphone telling everybody?
Definitely you out in the parking lot with the megaphone, chanting my name to everybody, telling everybody to pay attention to the Netflix superstar. That was great.
Look,
Thanks, buddy.
when he come in, and I asked the guy that was checking people in, I said, did that come up as Netflix's own Jesse? Or how did that come up? And then out in the parking lot, everybody that walked by got on the megaphone. I was like, my friend was on Netflix. My friend was on Netflix. My friend was on Netflix. Just being as annoying as possible. I had a blast, though.
I had a blast too. I'll take it all day long, for sure.
Looking
How's
good,
everybody
though,
doing
man.
tonight?
Good.
Good.
Just chatting
So
about
glad to
this
be a
crazy
part of this.
ride. Yeah.
So glad to be a part of this. I remember back when you guys first started Ringside Podcast, sitting on Daniel's couch with a little rinky-dink microphone in my hand, recording without even video. So it's great to see how far you guys came.
Couch, or was it?
I tried
Yeah,
to
it was your
tell him
couch.
yesterday that, look, we had this conversation yesterday. I tried to tell him that was either a different podcast or it might have been a week I wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, it was Ringside Podcast. It was me, Daniel, and Clint.
Yeah, there was an episode that's legit an episode. That is one of the first in season 1. I don't know the name of it yet. I have to go look real quick, but it is an episode of the Ringside. Yep.
But yeah, Daniel will forever be Mr. Delicious to us. So
You
it was
know
funny.
what was funny? I legit in White Plains, New York. I don't know how it came about, but somehow the name came about, and I had to explain to 3 people where that name came from. And Yeah, that was, and I've explained it on the show before, so go find it somewhere in the archives, and there you go. That's it.
Apparently, it may have a little bit to do with when Impact was in Louisville and the sign that said "Mr. Delicious, will you marry me?" So that probably had a little bit to do with it too. So,
I mean,
Speaking of names that have followed us around, I want to point out Big Eric over here that says "Bring back Brad Bacon."
Oh,
Yeah,
There it
that's a former personality of mine that has followed me around.
Brad Bacon. Well,
jeez.
So people in Western Kentucky know who we're talking about.
so I've been listening to the show up to this point, guys, and I can pretty much reiterate what everything that you guys have already said. But one thing that I took from the show, the wrestlers, it's making wrestling real again. You talk about the emotions, you talk about the, making us, people, seeing the struggle. To me, that makes wrestling real again, because everybody talks about kayfabe being dead and this and that. But I think this actually does a very good job of making it seem to see that we really are real people, all of us, from every level, from the top to the bottom. We're real people trying to make a living, trying to do what we do every day, and we do it with the best we can.
A lot of people don't realize too that some of the stuff that they see on television is based in reality. Struggles and strife and conflict. There are things that happen for real in life that we carry into the ring, and they become part of the on-camera presentation. So that's why we hate the F word.
it's right here, episode 49, ladies and gentlemen. It's called Stories from New Orleans, which is why the show just had me, J-Mo, and Clint on it, because we talked about our experience at WrestleMania in New Orleans. So that was the episode 49. Go back in the archives on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, or wherever. I don't know, the same thing, right? But anyways, go check it out and listen to that episode and hear the old intro too. I mean, used to rip off AJ Styles, so chat about that.
And now you got AJ McKay, so that's
exactly. Hey,
Linda McKay.
Hey.
Or Linda McCoy.
Linda McKay.
They call her Linda McCoy. I've heard Linda because it's
Linda
like
McMahon was
Linda
that on the air too.
Brian's called you Linda McKay before, which is so funny. Linda McKay, and he said, "My man, ma'am." Yeah, I'm like, oh well,
Poor Kennison. We love Kennison though.
Yes.
we do.
I was so glad Kennison got a feature story, or be featured in this show. He deserves it. He is by far one of the hardest working guys at OVW. You've seen it on the show. And what you've seen on the show wasn't even as much as he does. Like, there's so much he didn't like. He's involved with creative. He's involved with the social media. He's involved with the website. He's involved.
I think a lot of the talent don't realize how much some of those folks do behind the scenes, like Brian. And I mean, I work on all the video packages, and I produce all the Trons, and I do all the music and there's a lot that goes on to putting a show together that I don't even think that even some of the roster realizes how much, we put in around the days of the show, So yeah, Brian,
Absolutely.
I wish he would have portrayed in a different light for Brian, because he does work hard, and he became a part of the story because of different circumstances. But I don't think he gets the credit that he's due sometimes.
But what he said, when he was talking about he and Steve and the way that they showed up and just came, and they were seating people one day, and then all of a sudden they were part of the team. And that's why I tell everybody that shows up and says, what can I do to help? And it's like, do whatever, because you never know what role you'll end up in. It was the same for Brian and Steven. It was the same for me. I showed up. I was hanging around for a year with no real direction of what I was going to do. And then all of a sudden there was a bunch of announcers gone. They were like, you're the radio guy, you're the announcer. And here we are 3.5 years later, and I'm still here doing the ring announcing. So, that's the thing. When you jump in on the team, just play the role you're given, and who knows what role you'll get next.
You
Right.
have to be present. In order to be part, you have to be present. I tell even workers that come in, wrestlers that come in and they want to work and have matches. I'm like, you just have to show up. You just have to be present and wait for your opportunity. Because you don't get if you don't ask.
And I can tell you guys, just from a worker's perspective, 20 years ago, you couldn't get us out of the ring. You couldn't get us out of the building. Like we back then, you had to train for 2 years before you even touched a ring. We trained just to get the privilege to set up a ring and to work security. So that's one thing that has changed in this business as far as getting people to show up. If you show up, you're going to get used. I mean, and to tie off of what you were saying, AJ, as far as the behind the scenes crew, we wouldn't be able to do what we do every single week without each and every one of you guys. You, Brian, Steve, all you guys. I mean, you guys do so much behind the scenes. Heck, we wouldn't have half the production equipment we have if it wasn't for AJ McKay. So, that's shoot, brother, bang, bang. Like, that's just true. Like, I mean, it's true. And Brian does so much behind the scenes with our marketing and with our advertising and with our sponsorships. And I mean, there's been days like we've been on calls and he's left to drive to Lexington to pick up a paycheck just so we can, get stuff going and get stuff moving in the right direction for certain shows. If we have a show on Friday night and the funds hadn't came through yet, he's driving to wherever to get it. Like, he does a lot behind the scenes that he doesn't get credit for. 100%.
Well, you too, J-Mo. Let's give credit where it's due. Let's
I
let everybody
appreciate
know
that.
everything. Yeah, I mean, we know
Well,
what you do.
especially, I don't know how much of your personal life you want to share here, but with things that have been going on in your life the past year and a half, 2 years, if not longer. And
well, yeah, I'll go ahead and stop you there, AJ. Yeah, I don't mind talking about it, brother. It was the last 5 years of my life. The last year, of course, was the worst. I kept getting worse and worse. I had a condition called primary scrolling cholangitis, which ultimately shut my liver down, caused me cirrhosis of the liver. And back in December, I developed a condition because of the cirrhosis of the liver called I'm going to say it wrong. It's HE for short, but it's hepatic encephalopathy. And what it is, it's when toxins in your blood, because your liver controls everything. You'll be surprised how much your liver controls. But your liver controls the toxins in your blood. And so when your liver's not functioning right, those toxins end up going to your brain. And so what happened is I would wake up and I wouldn't know who I was. I wouldn't know where I was. I wouldn't know who my wife was. And they had to take me to the hospital, and I'd spend weeks in the hospital on medications and antibiotics and stuff until they brought me back. Luckily for me, they were able to bring me back each time, but it was a pretty scary experience. Not so much for me as it was my family, because like I said, my wife didn't even know who I was. And so like there'd be times where for me, I would lose no time. I would wake up and be like, oh, hey, how'd I get here? And it'd been 3 days. So it's like for me, I didn't lose no time, but for them, it was very difficult. So I'm grateful. On July 23rd of this year, I got my liver transplant. I got put on the liver transplant after a 5-year wait on July 12th. And within 13 days, they found me a liver. So I was grateful. I'm still grateful for this day. All my liver functions are back to normal. For those that know me, like you guys who know me, my color's back. I got white eyes again. It got to the point, and you could tell in the video, I've made a couple posts since this series came out. You could tell on camera, how sick I looked. My cheeks were all sunk in. My eyes were black. And even living it, I knew how sick I was, but I didn't know how sick I looked. And watching it on tape, it just brings tears to my eyes. I've watched it 3 times already, and I'm thinking about watching the 4th time. But mainly, it's just every time I see myself, I end up crying. And so I really don't want to get back to that again. But it is a great show. Greg Whiteley, definitely, hands down, great producer. He treated us all with so much respect and so much due diligence. He took the time to get to know us individually. Multiple of us are friends with him on Facebook now, friends with him on all the platforms. He reaches out to us. He reached out to me just to check to make sure I was doing okay since my transplant. And on that note, guys like AJ and Brian, like, I can't thank you guys enough. Like, you guys don't realize how much you guys motivated me.
It's family. It's all about family, brother.
That's right. Well, you guys reaching out to me and just checking on me, and even because the wrestling business, if you're not in the bubble, you're not in the bubble. And so it's easy if you're not seen, you're not seen, you're out of sight, out of mind. And it gets, and when you're dealing with stuff, it's easy to say, oh, they don't care about me. They'll, I'm not there. So they don't, realize what I'm going through. But you guys didn't let that happen. You guys stayed in contact with me. And Even Al made sure, at least once a week he was reaching out to talk to me. And so I really appreciate that. But I am back to 100%. Well, knock on wood, I'm getting 100%.
Well, the one thing I do got to ask though is that all the stuff that you said that your color's back, this is back. When are you gonna stop being ugly?
Wow.
I'm working on that too. Honestly. So I got the muscles in my arms now. Look at that. So I'm excited. So I can't do that with the face. Maybe some plastic surgery or something. But
one thing at a time, Daniel.
That's right.
Listen, Daniel. We met down here, bottom row. We lost a whole Rush Division superstar in the last year.
Exactly. I'm down to 197. So take it.
And you still can't count, Daniel. So what?
That's right.
I was gonna say it could be worse. You could look like the guy up here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Listen,
Mr. Delicious.
Daniel struggles at anything past 10.
Listen, really quickly, JMO. Love you, brother. Love you, brother. I think you look fantastic. I was glad to see you yesterday.
Thank you.
July 23rd is my birthday, so that holds a special day for me as well. But man, I cannot tell you how nice it was to see you yesterday and just to see that you're doing so well, man. Especially, I've been through a whole lot this year too. We won't get into that, but that's when we started texting a whole lot more when we were both laid up. And man, just to have your friendship and to have went through some of the struggle with you, I appreciate you so much, dude.
Absolutely. I appreciate you too, man. And I won't get too religious. I'm not going to, get into an old, tenement or anything, but I mean, it's nothing short of a miracle that I'm sitting here with you guys today. The surgeon who did my surgery even came in afterwards and talked to us and said in 15 years, he had never seen anything like it. That when it comes to transplants, it's so common for them to have to make adjustments, make changes, change a valve somewhere, redo a connection. 100%, every connection, every valve, every vein was a 100% match to my body. He said it was literally like the donor who had my liver was literally holding it till I needed it. And there's no explanation for that. There's no explanation for it. I'm a miracle walking. They told me I would be in the hospital for 4 to 6 weeks after my transplant, and 5 days after my transplant, they were sending me home. Like, it's just amazing. Like, I'm so grateful. I'm humbled. I'm glad to be alive, and I'm ready to find out why I'm supposed to be here, because there's definitely a reason I'm here.
Well, you've jumped back in it for sure. It's like, and I love that somebody said something about your juicing podcast. I like you're juicing and you're in the gym and you're.
They said, can we get a live rendition of Juicing with JMO on Ringside podcast? Maybe we can do that sometime in the future.
We can do that for sure. I do it every day.
No, JMO. Actually, I'm messing with you. You know our relationship. I love you, man. I'm through the moon that you got your liver transplant. I mean, I was one of the ones. We were constantly talking a lot and rooting and. It'd be funny, like he would message me. I didn't talk to him for a couple of days because I gave him his space, and he was like, he would check on me. He goes, man, you haven't checked on me. I go, well, because I know what it's like to be like, constantly everybody bugging you and talking to you. You just sometimes need when you're going through something, you just need some space for a minute. And but man, I so thankful to have you around back. So glad you're back behind the scenes at OVW because you were gone for those weeks. As you were doing that and recovering and everything. So it's just it's such and thank you so much for coming on and celebrating us going live and talking about wrestlers and all that. You've been one of you literally are when I got in the business, you were my first friend, and no lie. I mean, it wasn't the reason I got to the show, but you were definitely the reason I stayed in the show. So I appreciate you so much, and you know how much I love you. And even if I love your wife more and she loves me more, I still love you, Jay.
It is what it is. It's all good. But yeah, no problem. I love you too, man. It's been a pleasure. And I'm the one thing that I'm so grateful for as far as the wrestlers on Netflix. I'm so glad to see people that I care about finally getting a stage to shine on. And I've known Haley since she was born. I've literally known Haley since she was born. Like, so to see her grow up and see her become the performer that she's becoming and get in that spotlight. And it's crazy because I've had this conversation with a couple people. I've known Maria for 22 years, and I didn't know some of this stuff that I found out on Netflix. So it's crazy when you realize that you don't really understand what people are going through all the time. People have a way to, wrestling And I know it is for me, so I'm sure it's the same for a lot of people. It's our escape. It's our chance to get away from reality. It's our chance to not be who we are. And so that's why a lot of people in the business didn't even know I was going through what I was going through. Because when I was at wrestling, that was my way to not have to worry about, if I was going to live another year or not. It was my way to not have to worry about if I had a good liver or not. It was my way to get out and express myself and escape from my normal reality and my normal problems. And so I'm sure that's the same with her, and I'm sure it's the same with Haley, and I'm sure it's the same with a lot of guys. That's one good thing about this show. It does bring a reality to our reality. So,
yep.
Well put.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. So, JMO, plug your stuff, man. Before we're still gonna go on the show, but I want to. And I mean, I don't know. You know what? Take that back. You can still plug your stuff, but you don't have to go anywhere. You can hang out if you want.
Okay, I'm down. Sure.
So plug your stuff though. Tell us where they can find you, follow you on all socials.
Yeah, so on Instagram, Twitter, it's JMO established 2004. So look me up on Facebook. It's JMO Jesse Morris JMO. Follow me out. I'm there. So.
All right, sounds good. Real quick, before we go any further, I do want to do one thing, and that is give a shout out to our sponsors. That's right. When you go to Collar and Elbow, collarandelbowbrand.com, use promo code Ringside, all capital letters, you save 10%, and you help the Ringside podcast out in the process. That's right. The best wrestling apparel there is today, and they just launched some brand new merchandise this weekend in celebration of wrestlers on Netflix. So go right now, go to collarandelbowbrand.com, use promo code Ringside, and save today. Linda?
Well, I am sporting one of my favorite classics, Wrestling's Not Dead shirts from Collar and Elbow. I mean, it kind of goes along with what we were saying before. Wrestling is not dead, and it is here to stay. Especially right now, for all of us, it's always excitement. But, when you are on the go, whether you're in the ring, anywhere you are, you want to make sure you are protected if you get hurt. So make sure to go to ProWrestlingInsurance.com, speak with our great friend Chris. Let him fill you in about how you can have affordable monthly coverage as low as $8 a month to make sure you get paid if you get hurt. That's right. If you get paid and you are covered with this, you would get a check made out to you to help pay for your bills. And this applies to anybody, not just wrestlers. I mean, of course, ProWrestlingInsurance.com caters to wrestlers, but it is for anybody to make sure you're protected anytime, anywhere. And you can also get info to get event insurance coverage for your events as well. So visit Chris at ProWrestlingInsurance.com and tell us we sent you.
And you know what? With Pro Wrestling Insurance, it's going to help you if you get injured in the ring, but you don't want to have insurance if you get injured while you're grooming yourself in the restroom. Yeah, not a good look. We're talking about our friends at Manscaped. Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming, and they will take care of everything below the belt. They've got the Performance 4.0 package, which includes the awesome Lawnmower 4.0. Has a nice little light on there so you can see what you're working with. And it's also waterproof, so you can use it in the shower. You don't have to make a mess on the bathroom floor. Along with that also comes the nose and ear hair trimmer, which is called the Weed Whacker. My wife's over there. Did you steal mine? You stole it, didn't you? I think she stole it. But it's awesome. It's great. It works around all the long hairs that come off the ears and the nose when you get to be a certain age like us. Everybody except for Linda, obviously. And then, of course, it comes with all kinds of other goodies in the shed, which is the great travel bag that all of it comes in. And you can save when you use the code REFEREE, 20% off free shipping at manscaped.com. Check out all their products because they even have a great beard trimmer as well that I use on a weekly basis, and I absolutely love it. So definitely check it all out, manscaped.com. No more nicks, no more snags, and it's all waterproof. Take care of the situation. It is everything you need for the family jewels. Manscaped.com. Use the code REFEREE and save 20% with free shipping.
All right. That was a hard out. I didn't like that, so I have to fix that next time. All right, guys. We appreciate that. All of our what'd you say?
It was brilliant.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was going to do a hard out. So next time I know what I need to do to fix that. So
because we didn't talk about cornbread hemp. That was the key.
We didn't talk about cornbread hemp, and we'll yes, I'll go ahead and throw that out there. Cornbread Hemp. If you go to cornbreadhemp.com and use promo code Ringside, you save 15% there. Some of the best CBD products out there. And I tell you what, when I went to White Plains, I know when Eric went to Chicago, it helped me sleep nice and relax on that plane ride, because sometimes it get a little jumpy. So cornbreadhemp.com, promo code Ringside, get all your CBD products and much more. Just go check it out at cornbreadhemp.com.
AJ can attest. He was like, before I got on the plane, I said, I don't handle plane rides well. And he was like, well, take your cornbread. I said, I got it.
But you know what? Knock on wood, he did great. He did great going there and back. So yeah, I swear by that. I'm just like, here, keep popping these. I get him a wheelchair to get him off the plane. But, other than that, it was great.
That was a really good impression, though, Eric. You sounded just like AJ when you said that.
No, don't you
Yeah,
start.
it was pretty
Don't you
good.
start.
Bitter Mark's got a question. He said, how about that Matt Jones babyface turn in the show wrestlers?
Well, good night, everyone.
Oh, great.
What baby face turn?
Right. I didn't see that.
Jeremy disappeared.
Man, everybody just jumped out on that one.
Everybody's like, we're gone. I'll see you. Oh, man.
Is what it is.
Linda?
I always keep a positive attitude about everything, and that's smiling.
Well,
That was interesting to see the story for Matt as well. I mean, big part
Hey,
of what
I
we're
asked
doing.
him
It's
to be
great
on the
story
show
to see.
tonight, and he is still, doing a couple other shows, but he says he's going to be on the show with us. So
he'll come on. Yeah, he's going to come on. He told me
will.
that too. He'll come on. It's just a matter of timing, really, when it comes down to it.
And yeah. So I'll speak a little bit on with Matt. Like we wouldn't have probably been where we are today if not for Matt. Like we at the end of the day, the Netflix deal did come about after Matt and Craig came in and became a part of OVW, and things they've done have made a big difference in a lot of our talent, and even myself and everybody in the office. It has made a difference having them here. I think starting off, I think he wasn't familiar with the wrestling business at all. And it'd be like me buying an ice cream shop and going in and telling them how to make ice cream. I couldn't tell you how to make ice cream, but that would be the same preference of me going and buying, a cotton candy store and saying, hey, that's not how you make cotton candy. This is how you make cotton candy. It's the same thing. I mean, wrestling's a business. And for someone who has not ever been in the business to come in and try to be demanding and make decisions based off, and what he may not have realized at the time, the decisions he was making was affecting people's lives. And when you affect other people's lives, that can have an outcome that may not be favorable to everybody. So, and I'm sure that's got to be hard for him to have to deal with as well. So, I mean, I'm sure it's nothing personal, and I'm sure that he's came a long way and he's learned a lot along the way, and hopefully it'll continue to get better as we go.
Yeah. I think, he came in kind of like a bull in a china shop. I came in guns a-blazing, and I learned very quickly from being there every week, like physically in the arena, that you have to, everyone is you have to treat everyone differently. Not everyone is the same. You're dealing with personalities, you're dealing with talent. I learned that in radio a long time ago as a production manager, and having to deal with, I can't talk to Eric the same way I would talk to somebody else on the air staff, because you're dealing with creative talent. And so it's a learning curve. But I think that, Matt's learned a ton from day one to where we are now. And he even admits that, we were all chatting before the show Thursday, and it's wrestling is a different animal. Everybody's free. They're all freelancers, they're all self-employed. So It's not a corporate environment. I came from a structured corporate environment when I worked in radio, and he's, still in radio. Eric, when you're self-employed, it's a different thing, because you can say yes or no to anything that you want to, and you are beholden to no one. And so, I think that's what makes the wrestling business different, is that everybody works for themselves, so they can either do business or they cannot,
Yeah, there's a lot to adapt, like you said, from a corporate environment to our wild environment of pro wrestling. It's definitely tough to adapt, just like in any role, any profession that you're in. So the way it was shown just shows a unique way of adaptation, and again, just bringing up emotions again, and just relationships and the feels really.
Yeah.
We're talking a lot about the show, but it's definitely so many different feels and emotions.
And you were talking earlier about, different parts of the show where y'all were crying and stuff. I'm just a softie, I guess, because, when you get to know these individuals and you know them on a personal level, watching some of the things, I cried when Manning got on there talking about missing his kids. Like, I'm like, what the hell? What's wrong with me? I'll blame it on the medication, though. So.
And Cash Flow, I mean, they didn't even really, Cash and I are very good friends. We've become very close. We travel to shows together. I've even managed him in some of the different towns and territories he's gone to. And I've learned so much from Cash. And they didn't even really touch the tip of the iceberg about, his family life early on, and the challenges that they had to get through, and so I look forward to hearing more about Cash in future episodes, hopefully, if there is a season 2. That you talk about a guy that has a work ethic and that has grinded his ass off for years and years. He deserves every bit of success. One of the nicest guys in this industry that I've ever met. He deserves every bit of success that he gets, and I hope that it's all coming his way. True.
Not only nice, but I mean, he leaves it all in the ring still to this day. I mean, you got to think the amount of just wear and tear his body has gone through. I mean, every wrestler goes through it, but for Cash to still put it out there every night and go through what he does, and look at him flying outside the ring and all the stuff that he off the top rope, man, still, doing his thing. So kudos to Cash for always giving his all.
Yeah,
and he's there to help that young talent too. He's all about paying it forward. He's all about if you're willing to listen, he's willing to share knowledge and information. And that dude is a fountain of knowledge.
And I can tell you, sorry to stop you. And I could just tie up what you were just saying as far as helping the next generation. Our generation was taught you're only as good as the person you're in the ring with. So like it to us, it's just natural to want to train the next people. It's natural for us to want to help them get better, because you are only as good as the person you're in the ring with. If they look like crap, you look like crap. So I can definitely contest to that. And Cash, hands down, 100% company man, company guy. Great guy, give you the shirt off his back. If I called him right now and said, Cash, I need help, he'd be here in 5 minutes. And that's just the kind of guy he is. And I'm sure he'd do it to each and every one of you guys, too.
Absolutely.
I was just going to give my really quick, Daniel, sorry to interrupt you, even though I enjoy that he interrupted you and now I'm interrupting you. But my experiences with Cash Flow, me and J-Mo was talking about this yesterday. I remember going to the Shepherdsville fire station back in 08, maybe 09. I don't remember exactly when it was, because one of mine and Daniel's friends, well, he'll say it's just my friend because of who it is, but he used to wrestle for OVW, Ricky Chevy. He's a little bit on the...
There goes zero again.
I'm sorry. It is what it is. I went out to support him. I always support my friends and what they do. And a young Cash Flow was on that card. And from the times that I've ran into him at the gym, and he lives over here, but I live in Hillview. Run into him at Kroger all the time before I got to know him from when he came into our studio that we used to have in the basement and come did the shows. And that guy, just one of the most genuine, down to earth, like y'all said, willing to help people out guys that like if you saw him out and about and you needed something, he would help you out. I mean, no matter, I feel that way anyway. He would, if he saw you on the side of the road, he'd stop and try to help you out. Just all around good dude from my experiences.
Yeah.
What you got, Daniel?
Well, I mean, I was responding to a fan of the show. DNL Play Games commented and said, "Why did the Dark Side guy, which means Dark Storm, do all the talking heads hanging out of his car window? Is that cool or something?"
Oh,
I
love the car.
I can answer it too, but I loved it. I thought it was.
I
great.
love the car.
Yeah. I
It's
loved it.
funny that because I actually texted Maria and I was like, why in the hell is Darkstorm in every episode? Like, did he not want to sit in a chair somewhere? And like, apparently they interviewed him once over a 2-hour span inside of his car. And they used literally bits of that, I think, in every single episode. So it was the weirdest thing, though. It's just
I don't think
It ended the show too. That
Yeah.
something he said that was like the very end too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And to tie off something that Eric Montgomery had made a comment about the 30th, he wishes the OVW would have celebrated 30 years. We actually just celebrated 25 years. And I'm sure at the 30-year mark, we're going to celebrate the 30-year mark as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hold on, run in.
Well, 25. We celebrate the. Oh, there you go. We celebrate the. Hello. We celebrate the 25 years of TV being on TV, but OVW has been around for 30 years. I think that's where he was getting at. But we celebrated the 25 years of OVW being on television because it has been on television for 25. But for the first 5, it was just a running organization. So I don't think we. I mean, yes, we tout that when we talk about when we talk about, hey, this company's been around since 1993. This is, established in stars or whatnot, but it really became known around the area and in 1998 when it first aired on TV. So that's when it became
But that's when it officially became OVW, wasn't it, in 98? Because before, Danny Davis had his school, but it was just Nightmare Danny Davis School. It wasn't OVW.
That I'm not sure. I would have to. I don't know 100% on that. It could have been called a little bit before that. So okay, well there you go.
I was there.
You're old and grizzled. So I guess, and you work with children like me. I guess I don't know.
And it's my favorite thing to tell people, and they look at me like I'm crazy. It is other than Monday Night Raw, it is the second longest running weekly episodic television show in history, and people are like, what?
It's actually the third.
What's the
SmackDown second?
No, we beat SmackDown by a week.
I thought SmackDown had the 1,000 episode,
and we were on 1,200.
No. When OVW had 1,000, I thought SmackDown was like 2. Like I thought SmackDown had it, and we had it 2 weeks. I thought they were back to back.
No, we beat them by.
We did beat SmackDown. Okay, got it.
Yeah,
okay.
From everything by 1 week, just by a week. That's why Al is so insistent that we never not have a television show because, because we other than Raw, we're the longest.
We talked about this on the last episode we did, where we brought up the Impact 1000 show. There was 3 people that put out that, 2 people that they put out that Kurt Hawkins, aka Brian Myers, and Naomi, aka Trinity, was actually on the Raw 1000, SmackDown 1000, and Impact 1000. So we were curious of was there anybody on OVW 1000 that could have been on any of those other shows? And I think the only one we thought that came up with was on Impact 1000 and OVW was Tommy Dreamer, correct? And then Tommy Dreamer might have been on Monday Night Raw 1000, but he wasn't on SmackDown because if he was at OVW, he wouldn't have been on SmackDown because they were right next to each other.
Yeah.
So here's the research I've done. SmackDown 1000 was October 16th, 2018. OVW 1000 was October 11th. So 5 days.
Yep. So a little less than a week.
Look at you, AJ.
AJ was right. Daniel was wrong. That's made my night.
I remember them being back to back. Calm down. For some reason.
Well, they were back to back, I guess, technically, because was SmackDown taped at the time? Were they still taping, or were they live?
They were live.
Yeah, they were live. Yeah, they were live at that point. So there you go.
Yeah. They're on.
So we've got Hitter Marks up here asking the question about another name in addition to James Storm being added to the big one if Al worked the tag match. Little insight into that, I think, and Daniel knows too. I think there was another guy. We won't put it out there, but another guy that we talked about that maybe had some injuries.
Yeah.
But that did not get added, but kind of in that place became kind of EC3's involvement into OVW instead of the person who was being discussed, I think. Am I right there, Daniel?
Stone Cold turned it down. He was not available. Cold.
I think you're right, broski. I think you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Oh, that was subtle.
Jeremy always wants names. Always.
What
All
are
right.
you talking about? I just all I
Well,
did
no,
was answer
I'll
the
give him
question.
credit because Daniel was kind of involved in the discussion, but there were injuries that kind of prevented such things. So
And speaking of James Storm, I just want to take a second to put him over because you talk about a really cool dude. James and I sat backstage or back in the locker room, and he found out that I did voiceovers, and we talked about the union, SAG-AFTRA, and various things, and him doing stunt work and acting in films, and super nice guy, always willing to put over our talent and to help elevate people up. I can't say enough nice things about Cowboy James Storm. What a true pro and a great talent. That's all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was great working with him.
Absolutely.
So we're not done just yet, but I want to go ahead. Now's the time. I want to go ahead and give away tickets to OVW television. It's gonna any Thursday TV in October. Unfortunately, it's not for No Rest for the Wicked. We will have a separate giveaway for that though on this show, not this episode, but on Ringside Podcast. So I'm going to ask a question. So I mentioned you must be watching live because the only way to get the answer right is to be watching here. Those listening the audio version of the show later on, you're going to know the answer, and you'll have another social media option later on to win some other stuff. So here we go.
I'm ready.
Here we go. This is the question. If you can get this right, first one to answer in the chat wins these tickets to OVW TV any day in October. You just got to tell me the date, and you got it. So here it is. The question is, who was the last OVW TV champion? All right. Let's see who's got it.
It won't let me respond in the chat, Daniel.
That's
I
my
know.
design, I think.
I think I know.
So.
I think I know too.
I know.
All right.
I think I know.
All right, we'll leave that up there. But who was the last OVW TV champion? I'm looking. No one has gave the answer just yet.
Can we give a
So-
hint? The last person that was the champion was not the last person to hold the championship, correct?
That is true. That is true.
Oh,
That
well,
is
then
true.
I screwed up.
Oh, there we go. Who's
Bam.
ladies and gentlemen? Ryan Mosley with the answer. It's Mr. AJZ. There you go. He was the last champion. And fun fact to back up Eric. Eric's right. He wasn't the last one to hold the title. That was your one and only the national anthem himself, Shotgun Tony Gunn.
Tony Gunn.
He was the one that held the title. Yes. I would play the music, but we'll get a copyright strike. Yes, he was the last one to hold the title because he took the title and he threw it in the Ohio River. So actually, technically, the Ohio River is the last one to hold it, really, if you think about it.
I would have gotten that wrong. I thought it was Tony. There you go.
There you go.
And Tony stole it.
Tony did steal it. So Ryan, please reach out to us or just reach out to me on social media, and let me know what date you want to come, and then you will have in October. You will have 2 tickets with your name on it at the door, and bring a friend, a family member, whoever, and enjoy some OVW. So there you go. Thank
Nice.
you. And we'll do more giveaways as we go live. We're going to start doing these periodically, but those that listen live will have a chance. But then for those that still unfortunately can't watch it live, but watch it later on YouTube or whatnot, or go back and watch it or go back or just listen to the audio on our podcast platforms, we'll have social media chances too as well to win tickets and other things, including No Rest from the Wicked, maybe even a code to watch it, and maybe even a code to watch, say, a big wrestling show that's happening from a big company called Impact Wrestling called Bound for Glory. Maybe we'll have a giveaway for that too as well. So stay tuned to Ringside Podcast. You never know when we're going to do these giveaways, and they could last we could pop up and say you got 5 minutes to answer a question and get it right. So there you go.
Listen, I'm gonna go full hill here. I don't think Ryan should have been eligible for these tickets. He knows all these people. He interviews all these people. He tried to promo me earlier and he lost badly. So I think we should disqualify him.
Well,
No, but we can give him a big shout out for the final count as well. So big ups to him and his podcast.
Now,
the
actually,
eternal TV champion. Love it.
And I'll actually use this as a good segment for me to go ahead and cut out, guys. And as far as giving away the tickets, I hope everybody comes out Thursday night, 7 p.m., 4400 Shepherdsville Road. TV this week's going to be great. We got a main event, Jack Vaughn versus Crixus. That match should be off the chain.
Yeah.
It's pay-per-view worthy anywhere. So it should be a great night of action. Come on out and see the show. And as always, JMO loves you guys. Thank you for having me on. I'll always support Ringside Podcast and every one of you guys. So if y'all need anything from me, please feel free to reach out. And I'll see you guys on Thursday.
Cool. See ya.
Everybody.
Tell your wife I said hello. I cut him off before he got the answer. There you go. Look at that.
Vicious.
He's still trying to talk. He doesn't realize I cut him off. He's like, you're off the show, J-Bo. There's nothing you can say. We can't hear you.
Where'd I go, man? Where'd I go? Where am I?
Travis, yes, we've been talking about the documentary all night. Absolutely love the documentary too as well. We just, even though we were all in it, we're ecstatic for what's happened there. So yes, man, share it, watch it 100 times. All right, guys, so let's do a vote. Who here seriously thinks we're going to get a season 2?
Oh,
Me.
not me.
Oh, there we go. All right.
No, I think we're going to get season 1, part 2.
I like that idea. I really do.
You don't think we're ever going to get a season 2? You think
Oh,
it's
no,
just going to
yeah,
be a
but I don't think that's what's next. And I appreciate the love I'm getting in the chat, by the way. I love that y'all like to hear what I have to say. But I digress for a moment. I mean, I don't know who is this Doink. I know it's one of the clowns anyway, but it is what is that the dude from earlier, Daniel? Is that who that is?
No, it's not.
It's different. Okay.
Yeah, look at this. A lot of people are voting right now, so we're not the only one to look, they won in season 2. So I mean,
I'm putting it out in the universe.
Referee Shane Chess is in there.
Yes. One of my
I'm putting
proteges.
part 2 out in the universe.
Yeah.
Well, I think if they were smart, they would, the easiest thing to do would be a season 1, part 2, and then film a season 2 either in the fall or in the summer.
Mrs. Cashflow agrees.
Mrs. Cashflow.
Mrs. Cashflow.
So yes, it's definitely definitely been exciting. I do wanna ask you all a question. If we get a season 2, yes, we need follow-ups from Haley and Darkstorm and Brian and Chira, all the people that were featured.
Cash.
You get they tell you we're going to feature 3 more people. Each one of you give me your 3 people that we should do.
I like that.
I'll start mentioning Cal Hero.
Yeah. I was really surprised
I know
Cal wasn't.
Everybody's great story. And if we didn't get to hear a lot of what was shot and filmed with him this past season, then hopefully we get to see some of that or something continuing.
Cal has a great backstory. You talk about a dad that's had a heritage promotion and has relationships with some of the top names in the industry. I was really surprised that I didn't see much of Cal on this documentary, honestly. So yeah, it's a great feel-good story. Some heart-wrenching stuff early on, but it's a great feel-good story, I think, that should be told.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more Daniel Spencer, Linda Kay, Eric Cornish, and AJ McKay. That's my diplomatic answer. My fan answer, however, is I was shocked how little we saw of Jesse. I think he's probably got a great story to tell. I'd like to see Jesse. Isaiah, he's an interesting character that I think would really, I mean, just when we did that the podcast recording at Zaxby's years ago, I was thoroughly entertained the entire time, just us talking out a character and everything. And for my third one, I'd like to actually see, maybe we saw Gracie a little bit. I'd like to see more of because the crowd really is what makes OVW. It's a big part. It's not the only thing that makes it. You've got so many characters out in the crowd, from the heckling ladies to the Power Twins. I think that's what they call them. Would just love to see some of the intricacies of what makes OVW focused a little bit more. I can't. I just can't. Why? I guess he's trying to get likes from his 38 subscribers on YouTube.
I think that's that's got to be sarcasm. Surely that's sarcasm.
Shane says Jack Vaughn. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Luke Curtis mentioned.
Luke
Jack
Curtis.
Tony Gunn.
My picks. I'm gonna pick Luke. I do like Isaiah as a pick, but maybe Zoe. Zoe's got a really interesting story as far as like what he does in real life and what he does in the ring. Completely different.
I would like to see that every episode have one of these.
Oh yeah, Luke Curtis.
First into Al's office cutting promos. Like I need every episode needs one of those.
And my other pick is AJ. I think we ought to see what AJ's life is like and how he ended up here and everything that he's done, and just follow him around and see all the things he does. It's pretty amazing.
I'm a weirdo. I kind of like the anonymity, but I think, listen, at the end of the day, everybody has a story. Everybody has a backstory, and there's so many big personalities at OVW. I think that's what makes us unique. And the other thing too, I keep telling people, because I see these comments that, and I don't want to give them much credence, but I see people say, oh, why them? Why them? Why them? We're the only, and somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, we're the only live weekly wrestling television show other than AEW, WWE that do it live, because I know Impact tapes, they do pay-per-views live, right? But
they don't live, but our TV is taped.
Yeah. Okay. So we truly are a family because we see each other every week, sometimes 3 times a week in the summer when we're doing TV on Thursday, then Friday, Saturday shows, and sometimes Sunday shows. So it's not like we meet up for a monthly promotion where it's a one-off and then we don't see each other anymore.
Yeah, and you see, after the third time seeing someone, like I show up on the show Saturday and in a crappy mood and just let just voice my opinions to you and JMO, and then I have to say, oh, I'm sorry guys, I'm just in a bad mood. Oh, we can tell.
We can. You brought it up. I wasn't going to mention it. I was like, yeesh, all this negative juju happening right now.
I had a good weekend. I just shut Daniel out. It's fine.
No, I ended up having a great weekend. I just had to walk away, and then everything was fine. I just was in a bad mood at that moment.
It's because we are all family. Like you feel comfortable. Like you're not going to take that out on a coworker that you're in a corporate environment with, because if you do, you're going to wind up in HR. So like we have a rapport with one another where if you're in a crappy, like I knew you were off, like because you weren't your jovial, typical self, so I knew something was going on. That's why I said something. But otherwise, like you don't have those conversations with people because you see them once a month. They don't know if that's your demeanor all the time, if you're an ass backstage, and it's a one-off, So we can tell when we're hurting. We can tell when we're happy. We can tell when we're struggling. You get to know these people because we see each other so often, and that's what makes us unique. And I think that's why we have so many compelling stories.
And here's another thing you can tell, even if you've only watched 1 minute of the show. 1 minute of the show. One thing is that Linda Kay smells great.
Yes, always. Always.
First minute of the show.
In a locker room full of funk, Linda Kay always smells like a rose.
Right.
You know what? It was funny. What was funny when I heard that? I'm like, I probably every time I see Linda Kay and hug her, I think I always comment that same comment. Oh, you smell good. It's like everybody, because it's right. We're in a place of funkiness, and then you smell someone that smells good. You're like, oh, they smell. And I've complimented guys and stuff too. That I'm like, oh, you smell good. I'm like, what? I'm not expecting someone to smell so good.
Yeah, it's not typical. There are 2 things you take away from the OVW locker room. You always hug Linda Kay because some of that will rub off on you. Some of that smelling good part. You never hug Ryan Von Rocket because that glitter will knock you.
Yes.
I've been backstage directing the show with Al and somehow wind up with glitter all over me and didn't even see Ryan all night. I'm like, how does this happen?
I've had to prove that I was actually reffing a match with Ryan Howe, Ryan Von Rocket, excuse me, that I did not go to a strip club when I got home that night. So yes, I have. No, I'm not. I'm joking. She's not. It's always been a comment like, "Where you been? You sure you've been at wrestling?" I was like, "No, I promise you, I have. I've been at wrestling."
Or you go to the grocery store the next day thinking you got it all off of you, and then you get back home from being at the grocery, and there's like the 3 pieces right in the center of your head. You're like, I give up on life. I'm so done. So yeah.
Oh boy. You know what? By the way, you know how many of his guitar picks I've found in my pants over the years, and because picking them up, putting in my pocket, being in the middle of the ring, and then I go to wash my clothes, and I'm like, oh, and I forget. I'll just lay them down. I probably have like 50 of them that I forget to take back to him, and I've remembered to gave to him, but I'm like, man, I got more Ryan Von Rocket guitar picks than I do, anything else of my own. So
that's funny. Sign them and then sell them on eBay.
I can now, yeah.
A Matt's used guitar pick collected by referee Daniel Spencer.
Oh, look, hold on. Somebody probably knows all about that too. I'm sure Mrs. Cashflow has had to been like, where's this glitter from?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And he's had to explain where it comes from.
They've been doing it so long now. She's like, yeah, that's from one of the boys. That's either Luscious or Ryan. I'm fine. I'm going to bed.
Or it's just in the ring. It doesn't have to be from. It's just like you get in the ring because after they get in there, you get it on you.
Yeah.
I got to know how Miss Cashflow feels about her husband's butt being all over the world now.
Cash out Saturdays. If he doesn't get a sponsorship from like a tanning place from that, I swear he should be the spokesman for some tanning company. That's ideal.
I just when I saw it, I just knew that it shows you Cash works his ass off.
No, can't even find it.
How do I get out of here?
Jeremy.
Oh, there he goes.
Hi, Jeremy.
It is. I spent literally that entire summer. Was it the summer that they filmed or the summer before? It was the summer before. He was working. Cash and Omar had a lot of matches, and on the summer tour, right before Netflix came, they were doing. Cash had a wardrobe malfunction at one show, and they decided they're going to carry it on. So I'm sitting at ringside for a lot of these shows. And every weekend, there you see Cash's rear end on full display in some rural county in Kentucky.
Well, there you go. Mrs. Cashflow says, typical. That's my life.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, they ended up putting a shirt out that said butt crack across it. And now who knew that 2 years later,
well,
now that would be the talk of Netflix.
Leave it to Cash to make an ass of himself. I guess you go with these.
Those butt crack shirts are going to get hot again. They're going to get real hot.
Yeah.
So
you cracked me up, Daniel.
Oh no! There you go, Jeremy. Good job.
I had to pitch in. I'm sorry.
Hold on. Actually, here we go. This deserves a.
Oh no!
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the new Rick Dees.
Oh, he's D something, all right.
Like a kid with a toy.
They gave him a soundboard with this app. It's
I had the soundboard. I was going to bring that out earlier and forgot.
I may have to give my 2 weeks notice.
Yes, the butt crack chants were great.
Oh
yeah, they were great. Oh man, oh what a time, guys. We've been on I didn't think it was going to go this long on this episode, so I've been thankful for all of you all coming on, and AJ, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, man.
Shout out to JMO who came in and hopped in. I had 2 other people that talked about possibly surprising us, but unfortunately didn't work out. It looks like because they never showed up. So
who were they? Let's shame them on socials. Let's all
no, because I think they will come later on for sure. So, but no, thank you guys so much. I want to throw this up here just in case you don't know what we're talking about and you don't know what's going on. But please check out Wrestlers. It's streaming now on Netflix. It's an easy watch for all 7 episodes. I mean, you literally, after you watch episode 1, it rolls right into you're ready for 2 and 3 and 4. There's no way you would stop without stop and not want to watch anymore after you watch at least 1 episode. You're hooked, and that's the sentiment I've been getting from everybody out there. So thank you so much. We are the official podcast of OVW. I want to throw that out there. You can get us all on the podcast avenues and subscribe to us everywhere on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Play, TuneIn Radio app, or right here on YouTube if you're watching YouTube. If you're wherever you can get subscribed to us today, and follow us on all the social media. If you're watching us on Instagram, if you're watching us on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Facebook or Twitch. We're at Ringside Podcast on all podcast. I can't even speak on all social media platforms except for TikTok. We're at the Ringside Podcast on TikTok. So we will post some little stuff up there. Go ahead.
Since we're plugging, I was going to say I want to put over my socials, AJ McKay OVW. So if you haven't subscribed, followed, whatever, do that, and because I'm always talking out of my head, and it's good times.
I meant to do this the entire time that you were on, and I'm going to do this right now.
Actually, I just retweet everything that Eric posts because Eric's stuff is very.
I just changed your name to have your social there.
Thanks, buddy.
Yes.
Eric is so fascinating, so I repost Eric's stuff. That's what I do.
That's his job. He reposts Eric's stuff. So there you go. That's what he does. But yeah, so individually, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Daniel Spencer.
I'm at Jeremy_CSZ.
I'm on Instagram at LindaKPWR, but you can also go to lovelyLindaK.com where I have links to all my socials on there as well as my merch store.
And you can find everything Eric Cornish related at Eric on the Air. And also you can go to ProWrestlingTees.com/OVWEric, or you can find a lot of our merch at ShopOVW.com.
Yes, ShopOVW.com will have shirts from AJ McKay. Oh, wait a minute. AJ McKay, Eric Cornish.
I just ordered mine this week.
And myself. Hopefully Linda Cage is coming soon. And yes, and you can get, and if you want the official Ringside Podcast shirt right now, it's at ProWrestlingTees.com/Daniel Spencer. If you do buy a Ringside Podcast shirt, the money goes for here directly, doesn't go to my pocket. Actually, anything, I ain't gonna lie to you, anything which would bring Pro Wrestling Tees or Shop OVW comes right to this podcast. But if you buy a Ringside Podcast shirt, you actually get a shout out on the show. So do that, buy that shirt, support it, wear it. And, you may see it on ShopOVW.com coming soon, because I have talked about putting that shirt on there, and there is interest in it. So, because we are the official podcast of OVW, right?
There's no interest.
As seen on Wrestlers as well.
As seen, yes. Ringside Podcast as seen on Wrestlers, and the official shirt you can buy on ShopOVW.com or on Pro Wrestling Tees is also as seen on Netflix. So I've got to throw that out there. And AJ, you have one, or not AJ, but Eric, you have one as seen on Netflix too as well, right? Eric,
that's right. Man? I've got my Eric, my man shirt that I'm proudly wearing.
There you go.
I don't have any merch anywhere, so that's my plug.
It's all about the merch. It's all about the merch.
All about the merch. I don't know why Jeremy's backwards for some reason. Like I just realized he was not flipped. Anyways, it's all good. All right, guys. Any final thoughts before we go and close out this episode?
It was an honor to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to come back anytime.
Thank you.
You guys
AJ.
are awesome.
Yeah, you have the voice of an angel, AJ. I want to put that out there. You and Eric and Linda really help make this show listenable for me.
Well, thank you, sir. I think it's. I don't know what to say. Oh, poor Daniel.
All right, guys. In the meantime, in between time, until next time,
you can catch us live with Ringside.
Ooh, look at that cake.
Look at that cake.